Golf Podcast, presented by Golficity, where we bring you the tips, instruction, and support you need to get the most out of your golf game. And now your hosts, Frank and Mike.
Hey, welcome back to the Golf Podcast. This is episode number 185. And on today's show, we're going to be talking fitness. We're going to be talking nutrition. You guys have seen and heard us talking about it on the show, in the Facebook group, how I'm getting into it now, how Mike's been hardcore these last 2 years and the amazing results that he's seen. So really cool interview that we have for you there. We also have some really exciting news from Arcos. Our friends over there have got something really cool that we want to talk about because it's exciting. I'm finally getting the new one, and I'm going to tell you guys how you can do the same. On top of that, we've got, I know you guys have been following us along on YouTube and in the Facebook group and on Facebook, on Golficity's Facebook page. We've got these great vlog episodes. We got a really cool one coming out. We're going to be doing this next week at Cascades at Crystal Springs. We're going to be filming. We're also going to be down there at the President's Cup in a couple weeks. Follow us on social for that. I don't know if we're going to get a vlog episode. We're still working on getting some press credentials for that one so we can get the cameras in there. But even if that doesn't happen, we'll get some fun stuff for you guys on social. So make sure you check that out, especially on Instagram. Follow us at Golficity. Get us to those 10,000 followers. We'll probably be there by the time this show drops, but
probably,
I'm just so excited. The President's Cup. I mean, it's the season's winding down, but there's just so much here. Great stuff at the end that it's just great stuff. I can't wait. Before we talk about that, before we bring our guest on the show, I want to just do a quick word from our sponsor, nakedwines.com. Look, these guys have over 2 million customer reviews. So I'm sure you've heard all the buzz about Naked Wines. And what they do is nakedwines.com connects everyday wine drinkers and winemakers more closely than ever before. And that grants you access to unique and exclusive wines from all across the globe. And because Naked Wine funds winemakers directly, they're able to remove those huge markups that would be typically passed on to us by the liquor store. Mike, I'm talking big savings, like 60% on some of the best wines you're ever going to taste.
Yeah, it's pretty ridiculous. And you know what? It's time to reorder for me. I think I have a case en route. Listen, I love entertaining, having friends and family over. And what's great is knowing I always have great wine on the rack. I mean, thanks to these guys at Naked Wines. I mean, how embarrassing is it when someone comes by, you have nothing to order them, to offer them, whether it's like bottom of the shelf tequila or anything like that. I mean, you know how it goes. Maybe that old beer in the fridge, Frank, that we always have. But listen, with over 2 million customer reviews, it's easy to see why nakedwines.com is the best in the business. And what's great, I have this awesome wine rack in my kitchen, and now it's always full as each box comes in so effortlessly to my front door. I mean, you have to try it to believe it. And now, get this, you get $100 off your first order. Yeah, nakedwines.com. They're going to ship 12 bottles, hand-selected for your taste, for, drumroll, $79. That's like $6.50 a bottle. It's ridiculous. And the wine is fantastic. So check them out, nakedwines.com/golf to claim your offer. That's nakedwines.com/golf.
Okay, so Mike, there's some people obviously who've been listening to the show for a long time. And then I'm sure we've got some new listeners tuning in each week. So if you're new, you probably haven't heard us talk about it yet. But if you've been around, almost week after week, we're always talking about Arcos. I jumped on board, using the Arcos system probably and now it's about to be 3 seasons now already. And once you get in your hands, there's just no turning back because it gives you all that data you always kind of craved having. So like, for instance, you hear us talk about it on the show before. I talk about the power of data and knowing some statistics about your game. So we had done a couple episodes, Mike, it's going back a little ways now, even back to when we were doing it pen and pencil. And we're like, all right, so what stats do we really need to keep and how's that going to help us improve our game? And we've had a couple even coaches and teaching pros on the show before, and they talk about keeping some statistics. The problem I always had was it always took me out of my game to try to be thinking about that, marking it down on the scorecard with like some sort of hieroglyphics, missed left, hit green,
right.
green, right. So once Arcos came out, I'm like, I got to try this out. and it's so hands off. It just does everything for me. I get statistics that I can't even fathom how detailed they are. So we've got a long history with these guys. We had the founder, Sal Syed, on the show not too long ago. So recently you and I had the opportunity to get out there and play with Sal, and great day. We had a whole vlog about it. You can check that out. And while I'm out there, they're playing with them. They see that I've got like the original, like the OG.
That's right.
Arcos on, and this thing's still kicking, man. I haven't even changed the batteries. I've been doing it for 3 seasons, but I love it. I'm like, I just don't want to, let it go. And I know the new 360 came out, and I've been kind of chomping at the bit because the 360, it's like you have the 360, right, Mike?
Yeah, I absolutely love it.
Yeah, it's got those much like smaller, more streamlined sensors that go on the clubs, and it's a lot more accurate. It knows when to turn on, turn off, so the battery life is a lot better. But I just haven't quite pulled the trigger yet. So they're like, "Well, what about the trade up program?" And I'm like, "What are you talking about? Tell me about this thing, right?" Because I hadn't heard about the trade up program until now. Long story short, you can go to arcosgolf.com/trade up, and every golfer, you, me, we've all got in the back of the garage, in the back of the closet or something like that, old golf equipment we're not using anymore. It's collecting dust. Now you can actually take that stuff and turn it into money towards a new Arcos 360. So arcos.com/trade up. I'm on it right now as we're talking about it. They've got every possible brand. What you do is you select the equipment that you want to trade in, and right there, no guesswork, they tell you what the value is of each thing. Now, if you're like me and you've got a Gen 1 Arcos, you can trade that up too, and you can get $75 for it. So that's exactly what I did. I went on there, put in $75. You ship it off to them. You get a $75 credit that you can use when you purchase your Arcos 360, which I think they go for like $249 right now. So this is significant savings. But then as I'm in there, I start tacking some stuff on. I got some old TaylorMade, the bubble shaft clubs that's in here. I'm looking at this. I'm getting, $5-6 for each club here and there. All of a sudden this thing starts to add up. And I got a huge discount off. It's like a no-brainer. Plus on top of that, because these guys, I really appreciate, they support the show. We're good friends with them. They're tossing in an extra $10 when you actually purchase your 360, use coupon code Golficity. They'll take another $10 off. So if you are at any point on the fence about, is it the time to get the Arcos 360? Now's the time to do it. Jump in the trade up program, trade in whatever you got laying around. Who knows? I mean, you may get this thing down to like pennies by the time you find everything in the garage, and then throw the Golficity coupon code on there. It's a home run. Mike, I mean, you got like what? You got an old Garmin S1 or something like that watch, right?
I have a ton of golf equipment just sitting in my garage. I have clubs. I have a bunch of old GPS watches, things like that. Actually, what I'm going to do, which is a brilliant idea, I think, is I'm going to trade up all that stuff and get a bunch of 360s, and boom, there's my holiday gifts this season. You know what I mean? Like, I get my father one, I'll get my father-in-law one. I mean, it's a great idea to get rid of that equipment that you're going to throw out anyway. I mean, come on. It's going to be in your next garage sale, or you're going to throw it out. So you might as well put it towards something that is pretty, exceptional. And, before I said I absolutely love Arcos, listen, if you're on the fence with this product and you don't think you're ready to make that leap of faith and get behind the stats side, I can't stand, Frank, when people say, well, what are you going to do with all those stats? You know what you're going to do? You're going to improve.
Yes.
Bottom line, I've improved dramatically from reevaluating my round afterwards and determining where I need to get better. I mean, it's awesome. And even this Arcos Caddy, how phenomenal is this thing, Frank?
Oh, it's so cool. It'll analyze each hole and it tells you what to hit. And even Sal, funny thing, it's like a story. Sal, when he was playing not too long ago, he got a hole in one by just kind of trusting this thing, and it told him to hit an 8-iron on a par 3 where he normally hits I think it was a 7, or maybe I'm going the other direction. Anyway, he just trusted it, hit it. Obviously, he's sold now,
right?
But it's so true. I mean, we talk about like we're all limited on time, on how much time we have to practice, right? And so I say when you practice, it's got to be really effective use of your time. And I think the way to do that is to really truly identify the areas of your game that need the most work. And that's what stats do. And when I go into my like Arcos dashboard online and I look at all my breakdown, I find things that I wasn't aware of before, like the amount of times that I missed the green short. It's not something I had thought about before. I find that I'm taking one extra club into greens and I'm hitting more GIR. But it's not just us. I mean, the guys were able to share with us a little bit of their statistics because obviously they're gathering this data across the board. And they found that get this, Mike, this is so cool. In 2016, Arcos 360 users improved their handicap by an average of 2.77 strokes.
Wow.
Now, we all know how hard it is to shift that handicap, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's 36.4. I love these accurate numbers, how accurate these guys are. That's 36.4 times faster than the average player with the gin handicap. And on top of that, in 2016, these players also averaged 14.91 feet closer on an approach shot. So yes, it's cool and it's flashy to have all that data, but I think that's the more important point you're making is that when you have that information, you can do more with it. So anyway, if it sounds like I'm amped up about it, it is because I am. I've been a long time advocate of this. Anytime in the Facebook group, people have questions about the Arcos 360, I try to jump in because I've been using it so long. I've been enjoying it so long. But again, I know that this was my hurdle, was pulling that trigger. Now's the time to do it, especially, like I said, this equipment that you have sitting around, it's only going to decrease in value. You might as well get the value you can out of it now. But these guys, it's no joke what they're giving back for stuff. I'm looking at some of these old stuff, maybe from like 5-6 years ago. You have that Garmin S2 rangefinder watch, right? Which you're not going to need once you have the 360 anyway, because it gives you all your distances. And if you happen to have the Apple Watch like I do, it pairs perfectly with it. I just lift my wrist and I can see exactly my yardage to the front, back, and middle. But anyway, I'm looking at the trade up program. They give you $40 for that, $40.50. So as you can imagine, add a couple of these together and then boom, you're in good shape. Plus, as I said, you just tack on that Golficity coupon code, an extra $10 when you go on and you actually buy your 360, and you're going to get some real savings. So we'll also post links to this in the Facebook group, and I'll post them on the show notes, which you can get to Golficity by going to golficity.com/185. I want to once again thank the guys at Arcos for being so generous. And first of all, turning me on to this so I could get, the new Arcos 360, but also throwing that extra $10 coupon exclusive for Golficity and listeners to the podcast. So that's really cool. Okay, Mike, I don't want to take too much time because we got a great interview coming, but tell us a little bit more about who we got coming on the show.
Yeah, so please let me introduce Matt Phelps. He's CEO and owner of Metabolic Meltdown. Matt's a guy I met through my brother up in the capital region of New York, and essentially this guy has done wonders for me, Frank. I mean, in life, in golf, in the gym, just all around. He's coached me to get in shape, lose weight, and I've gained an enormous amount of self-confidence in life as a result. And, off the course, I mean, there are things that are important, and self-confidence is one of them. It's funny. He graduated from my alma mater, Siena College, up in the Albany area. He's trained hundreds, if not thousands, of athletes in his career. Started to build his business about 4 years ago. And what's great is that he's done so much in the fitness and the nutrition part. He's added so many members to his exploding empire. Over 2,000 members now, Metabolic Meltdown has, Frank, and they just opened up their 5th location up in Saratoga, New York. What I love about their brand is that his amazing trainers, Frank, the team, they have this really unique way of building muscle, burning fat, living an exceptional lifestyle so you can always be on top of your game. And the proof is right here. I mean, I've been using metabolic training and macro coaching from Matt since March, and here are my highlights. I've lost 26 pounds, but I've gained a ton of muscle, self-confidence through the roof. I mean, that helps you excel at anything in life, like I said, not just golf. And my motto is when you feel good, you look good. And when you look good, you feel good. I mean, it just go hand in hand. And golf game, it's improved dramatically, as did all of the sports I play, whether it's a round of tennis, shooting hoops on the driveway. I mean, I'm hitting 6 irons, 200 yards now.
Yeah, we saw the visual evidence too in the Facebook group, that 3.5-foot box jump.
Yeah, I mean, you see it right there. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, man.
It's been great. So, I've been able to play a lot better golf. I'm firing through the ball, getting my hips through. I'm more flexible on the course. It's amazing. So let's not stall anymore. Let's bring Matt onto the show. But first, let's just do a quick word from our sponsor before we bring him on.
Hey guys and gals, when it's too hard to fit 18 holes into your busy life and schedule, 9-hole golf is the way to go. You can still get out there and play golf without compromising on any of your other commitments. The important thing to remember is that you're still getting out there and playing some golf. You can fit 9 holes into any short time frame. It could be after work, before going out for the evening, whenever. 9 holes of golf counts towards your handicap, and it can be entered towards your GIN. And it's a great way to introduce someone who is less experienced into golf into the game. Not to mention, many facilities offer 9-hole rates and rounds, so you can even enjoy the game at a reduced price.
Yeah, learn more about options to play in your area by going to usga.org/play9. That's usga.org/play9. How's your short game? All right, so without further ado, let's bring on Matt Phelps, CEO and owner of Metabolic Meltdown. Matt, welcome to the Golf Podcast.
Thanks a lot for having me, Mike. Excited to be here.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, first and foremost, congratulations on all of your recent success with your booming fitness empire. I mean, I follow every step of the way. I gave you a little introduction before you came on, and I talked a little bit about my success working with you over the last now almost 6 months it'll be. But first off, please tell Frank how incredibly disciplined I am. I mean, come on. Right?
I mean, Frank, Mike is one of my most disciplined macro clients, without question. He's only a distant second to his brother, but other than that, he's pretty good.
Well, we pick on him a good amount, even in the Facebook group with his egg whites and chicken out on the golf course. When I'm eating the old, Cliff Bar, which is probably terrible for me, but this he's dedicated.
yeah, man, he's absolutely dedicated, and the results show.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I love it. I love the lifestyle, and we're going to talk about that. So I just wanted to give a little bit of a background for our listeners and even Frank, because he's been hearing me talk about macros, and I know he wants to know about it. So, let's talk about the nutritional side of things. So basically, like I said, you've been coaching me since March remotely. Yes, it's true. Matt's been coaching me remotely through email and online. And together, I've lost 26 pounds on this macronutrient lifestyle. I'm not even going to call it a diet, because let me tell you something. You eat a lot, and you eat a lot of good food. So Matt, let's explain this. What are macros? What are they all about? And how do your team of trainers work with individuals like me to meet their nutritional and lifestyle goals?
Yeah, sure. So basically, macro stands for macronutrients, and there's basically 4 different types of nutrients: proteins, carbohydrates, fats, and one with little to no nutritional value, alcohol. So in protein and carbohydrates, there are 4 calories in a gram, and in fat, there are 9 calories in a gram. So by manipulating our macronutrient profile on a daily basis with our clients, we're able to really optimize their nutritional plan so that they can feel full, lose body fat, and perform well, whether it's on the golf course or in the gym or whatever activity they're doing. It works much better than just giving someone a certain amount of calories, because you and I both know, if we have a caloric budget to hit, we're just going to go to the stuff that tastes good. And by following a macronutrient-based plan, we're able to really formulate a dietary structure that fits our exact needs.
It's pretty insane, because before I started this diet, looking back on the Mike of old, the pre-March Mike, the guy who was 196 pounds, now 168.8 as of this morning. By the way, I meant to tell you that before.
There you go.
Right. So we're getting closer to the goal. But, looking back on that guy, I mean, I was actually eating most of my day's macros before I even got out of the lunchroom, because all my decisions were poor, and all that stuff was slowing me down. I wasn't able to perform at my peak. It was showing on the golf course for sure. I mean, that's the sport that I play heavily. That's the sport that I'm involved with maybe 3 to 4 times a week. So that's my sport, and I need to be in tip-top shape to play it. Flexibility, things like that. I wasn't there. Now I am. And it's all as a result of this, having the proper, macro count daily. So is it almost just like, it's kind of like a point system that each individual gets based on them, right?
Absolutely. It's highly customized. So what works for me may not work for you, but the beauty of it is through consistency and time, we will find what works for you.
I love it. And I love the fact that you let me eat a free meal, so to speak, once a week. So that's cool. You know, you could joke about it because Frank's actually, he witnessed one of my free meals a couple of weekends ago, and I just went to town on that Mexican food. He was there. Yeah. But you know, it's great because it gives you that something to work for, and I love it. And let me tell you something, it's working wonders for me, and I can never see myself going back to eating the way that I was eating because this has become a lifestyle change. Like I said, I don't consider it a diet; I consider it a lifestyle change, and everything that I'm doing in life is better off as a result. And I know you can agree with that.
Absolutely. It's a lifestyle change and it's an education. That's what I always preach to my clients is, you know, whether or not you strictly track your macros for the rest of your life, you will possess the knowledge that it takes to make better choices for the rest of your life, which will certainly help you on the golf course and keeping your waistline down and just feeling better on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, I love how you said that. It does help me make better choices. I mean, even when I'm out, I mean, it's tough. I go out, I entertain a lot in my business. And, you know, the Mike of old again, he would have just went off the menu, anything. But, you know, I like making better choices. And I like the way that I've been feeling as a result. So, you know, with the nutritional side, I guess the next question for you, and it comes from one of our listeners, Kevin Howe up in Massachusetts. We had this. Our inboxes were filled with such great questions, but I picked this one because it kind of reminded me of me, and Frank will attest to this. So first, let's just play that clip, and then let's dive into it.
Hey, what's up, Golficity podcast? This is Kevin Howe from Mass. I had a nutrition question for Matt. When I'm playing, I've noticed pretty consistently that I'm getting fatigued on the back nine. It's not really a hydration thing, as I'm drinking plenty of water when I play. When I pass the clubhouse, I'm trying not to stop in and get fried food or hot dogs. I kind of feel like that's going to make it worse. Sometimes I'll pack like a kashi bar, but I didn't know if you had anything recommended, either store-bought or maybe something I can make that's going to help me keep my strength up when I'm playing and kind of feel a little less worn out on those final 4 or 5 holes.
Okay, so basically, to sum it up, Kevin's looking for more stamina on the back nine. I mean, and Frank, you can attest to this. How many times have I been fatigued and just pretty much just throwing my round away on like the 14th hole, right?
Yeah, exactly. I remember when you used to be struggling, you know, 16 on, and you're like, Frank, how do I get myself through this?
It was because of nutrition. I just didn't have enough fuel in me. I mean, I was doing the Cliff Bar on the turn, and I was having the bacon, egg, and cheese on the bagel before the round, you know, just to slow me down altogether. But Matt, what would you tell Kevin here? I mean, what should he do? Should it be something that he does before he even gets to the course, like in the morning, or you know, or is it something he could bring on the course? A combination of both. What would you say to him?
Yeah, Kevin. To help you out, man, honestly, I think your question is typical of people in that we live in a society where people are looking for, you know, immediate gratification and reward based on decisions that they make. And a lot of times people will, you said you try to bring a kashi bar, but to be honest with you, a lot of times the nutrients in that kashi bar are not even being digested out of your, digestive tract before you even can utilize them in your bloodstream. So I would actually wonder what you would eat in the day before and how much water you would drink the day before the golf outing that you have, rather than look to, you know, the immediate solution for that day. I would also say maybe try and find something that's a little faster digesting, like an apple or a banana or something that you can really utilize that will not, you know, give you a huge spike of insulin or slow you down and make you feel groggy.
Yeah, I like that. Absolutely. And you know, even for me, Matt, I mean, you've got me on this intermittent fasting where for the past 4 months now, I've been eating 2 meals a day. And that one big meal I'll have, for me, I'll usually eat it about 4 hours before the round if it's not an early morning round. Today, for example, I played at 11 a.m. I woke up early, and I just fueled up. I fueled up for the round. I was not hungry once. And let me tell you something, I could have turned around and played another 18 holes, probably without eating anything else at that point, because I set myself up. I had a good amount of macros in me already. And even the night before, like you said, I had a good amount in that dinner meal. So I kind of do something similar to what you just said, whether it's the night before fueling up, just like these racers who will just dig into a big bowl of pasta or something before a race. I think it's probably the same, right? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think too, like a lot of times people think that increased meal frequency and snacking will help them either perform better or stay lean. And scientific evidence has repeatedly shown that that is not the case. And at the end of the day, it's the total caloric and macronutrient intake that will dictate your body composition in terms of your energy and how you feel. The less, I don't know about you guys, but the more I eat, the more frequently I eat, the hungrier I get, the more I think about food. So by having some slightly larger, maybe 2 to 3 slightly larger, more satiating meals that are full of micronutrients that will help your performance, that's really what you want to go for.
Interesting. See, Frank, you heard that. You got to have some big breakfast now.
Well, sometimes I get enamored with this whole idea because I see sometimes Mike, like he's losing weight and it sounds like sometimes he use the word diet, but then I see him saying, well, the hardest part, Frank, is like eating all this food. And I'm like, that's so counter to what I'm used to seeing when people are saying dieting and losing weight, which is why too, I kind of wanted to jump in and ask this question as a newbie, because Mike, you're speaking from experience. You've been doing this for a while, but as a newbie, somebody who hasn't done it, and I'm hearing this, macronutrients mentioned a lot more. It seems to be popping up in a lot of different places. Some other fitness and stuff podcasts that I hear, they're talking about it. And from, just the start, it seems like something that's a little bit intimidating because there's so much, it seems like there's so much involved, like from scientific standpoint of eating. So Matt, could you just tell me a little bit more if like someone like me was just starting fresh and like wanted to do it, but felt a little like intimidated, like how do you go about it? Is it something I should research on my own online and then try to do it that way? Or is it something I should get involved with like a coach with?
I always recommend getting involved with a coach. Even I utilize coaches for myself just because it's nice to have the accountability and a really objective viewpoint on what you're doing and what your goals are. Mm-hmm. But to answer your question, Frank, you're doing macros right now, man. You're just not counting them. So
I guess that's true.
So
right.
Right now, we are all doing macros every single day. We're just kind of being enlightened as to what they are. So the biggest thing I always tell people, and that's why less is more with meals. If you just have, I'm a 2 meal a day guy, but a lot of my clients are 3, some of them 4. That's fine. You just have to find a system of eating that works for you. Mm-hmm. Stick to that system. And then really it's just a matter of planning, like planning your meals out in advance and just executing that plan on a day-to-day basis. Unfortunately for some, it never bothered me, but usually for dietary success, you're going to need to eat similar foods on a day-to-day basis. I'm big into that, but in terms of being intimidated, there's nothing to be intimidated about because perfection is never required. Consistency, just consistently getting near your targets is what matters. It does not have to be perfect by any means.
Gotcha. And also, I guess working with the coach, because as you mentioned earlier, it's like highly personal. It's like no one size fits all, I'm imagining.
No one size fits all. And when you're first getting started, it can be discouraging, or you might wonder if your progress is okay. And just having someone else in your corner helping you out, and if you got to submit your numbers to that coach the next day, the cookies in the cupboard suddenly don't, I might as well hold off on those. If you don't have a coach to report to, you're probably going to eat those cookies.
It's all about accountability for me, at least. That's what's got me through it.
And for so many others. Yeah.
Well, that's good to know from my standpoint, because like I said, it's something that I see Mike having so much success, and I'm like, I kind of want to try it, but then it just off the bat, I'm like, well, where do I start? So you're saying the place to start is to first identify a good coach that you can work with, and then just kind of to start working to build a very individualized plan.
Absolutely, because a good coach will not only guide you, but they will educate you as to what you're doing and why you're doing it. Like if Mike was to say to me, man, I'm getting hungry, I might suggest eating fewer meals for Mike and seeing how that goes, as opposed to just sending him numbers and not explaining why we're doing what we're doing or educating him about proper choices to make from a nutritional standpoint.
Gotcha. Yeah, very similar to what our listener Kevin's question was, where that's what you're saying. Well, let's take a step back and say, what did you eat the day before? Okay. So yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I cannot say enough about the nutritional program that you have, Matt. I mean, like I said, it's worked wonders for me, but I want to kind of switch gears talk about the fitness side of it, because I know that's something
Sure.
you're extremely passionate about as being an owner of a gym, many locations now. I mean, obviously you have something that's working. I've had the opportunity to work out in one of your gyms, and let me tell you something, phenomenal workout, very consistent. I mean, great program that you run, and seeing your social media posts frequently, looking at the shape that your clients are in. I mean, you could tell that it works. So it's great. Any age person, male or female, can utilize this metabolic training. And, I want you to talk about metabolic training, but I want you to kind of educate Frank in the process, because like the nutrition, Frank and I have been talking about me kind of showing him some ways that he could start getting in shape. He talked on a couple episodes ago how he's waking up a couple of mornings, running down to the gym in his community and starting to do stuff, but he just doesn't know where to start. And I was giving him a couple of things like what I tell you the other day, Frank, plank jacks and a couple of different things to strengthen your core, because Frank has suffered from some back issues. So, for someone like Frank, how can they do this metabolic training on their own if they can't get access to your gyms up in the capital region of New York? So can you tell us about the training and how they can get it?
Yeah, so basically metabolic training, to our listeners that may not know what that is, metabolic training just simply is strength training at a pace. So basically we're going to do a full body workout. We're going to get stronger. We're going to utilize a bunch of different types of equipment between kettlebells, bands, TRX straps, dumbbells, anything. It doesn't matter, your own body weight. And we're going to do it at a pace. So by doing it at a pace and minimizing our rest period from set to set, exercise to exercise, we're going to also elicit a huge cardiovascular effect, which really just kills two birds with one stone. I mean, for many of our golfers out there, there's no need to squat 300 pounds or to bench press 250 pounds. That's not necessarily going to help you. However, developing general strength, mobility, and flexibility in terms of also getting leaner can also definitely help your game. And, that's one of the main reasons I love metabolic training for many different types of athletes. In terms of how to access it, we just launched a program, Metabolic Online, which you can access through our website, www.metabolicmeltdown.com/online. It's a great program for, you get a video access. We do a video of the day. You get a template of the workout for the day and a screenshot of our timing system. So
it can't be any easier, really.
No, it's very, the next best thing is being in one of our facilities, but we know we have clients across the country that do our online program, and they definitely have fun with it.
Yeah. And see, that's exactly what I wanted to hear, because I come from, like, in college and stuff like that, I used to do a lot of weightlifting, right? But it was like the typical three sets, 10 reps, moving my way around. One day is chest and back. The next day is shoulders and arms, legs. And I'm just kind of like, it was the kind of this longer drawn out process. And I bulked up during those years. But since then, I've been kind of plagued by back injuries, and that's what's taken me out of the game of golf so much. So this is something that I'm starting to see more and more gyms similar to yours pop up in my area. And it's like, it's a totally different look to me. Like I'm used to seeing places just stacked with free weights. And now I see these big open spaces, and people are, doing more, as you said, with resistance bands and their own body weight and stuff like that. And I have this like desire to jump in, and I see what Mike is like getting this, a lot of results out of it. And I even have a gym that I have access to right here in my little, HOA community. But I'm like, I don't know what to do. It's just like, I don't know where to start. So that was going to be my next question. Similar type of thing. Where do we get like a program or something like that? And I guess you answered my question ahead of time with these videos and with that type of stuff. But I think that's my other kind of hurdle. I'm just so used to that old way of lifting weights that me and all my buddies would go to the gym at the same time, and you spot me while I bench, and then vice versa. So is this something that's kind of come up in recent years, or is this something that's been around a long time? It seems so new to me.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty modern form of training for adult fitness, to be honest with you. Mm-hmm. I think that the thing is people get bored and they want fitness to be fun, and this is a fun, dynamic, somewhat athletic way to train. You can build muscle, you can get stronger, and you're not just doing the same 3 sets of 10 on the bench press every time. Right. So your muscles don't know the difference between, a dumbbell floor press, a set of band resisted push-ups, or a barbell bench press. They just know the stimulation that they receive. So why not make it as fun as possible? And I think that's, someone in your situation, I would hop into one of those facilities and try it out and see what it's all about. But I think you hit the nail on the head with, you used to have fun when you worked out with your buddies. And that's what fitness is about. And it's got to be fun and enjoyable to make it part of your lifestyle.
Right. And what I like particularly about this too is that idea where it's much more active. Like I told Mike, I'm like, I did one workout where he gave me a couple things to do. And I'm like, well, I couldn't believe, like, I felt like I was, building muscle, but I felt like my heart rate was up, which it was never before. It was always like weightlifting and then do cardio. And they were two separate events.
Right.
Now too,
yeah.
I got, I'm older now. I've got two daughters. I don't have as much time in my day. This idea that I can get a real solid all around workout from cardio standpoint, strengthening everything in like 30 minutes is kind of mind blowing to me.
Absolutely. And that's one of the biggest benefits that I always tell people is, what's the most valuable asset that you possess besides your children, of course? It's your time.
Time without a doubt.
So if we can maximize that time through the marriage of strength training and cardio into one efficient workout that gets you leaner, stronger, builds muscle, burns fat, I mean, that's the holy grail right there. That's what we want.
You name it. Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you, I haven't been this strong since I think I was a junior in college, and then that was a long time ago. So, it's definitely working for me. And like I said before, on the golf course, for you golfers out there that are looking to just get further drives, just trying to get your hips through the ball to get rid of the slice, it's all in that core. I mean, Matt, one of the longest drivers on the PGA Tour is Justin Thomas, the guy who weighs 140 pounds, but he's flexible and he's got incredible core strength. He's got incredible torque from back and through the ball. And it all comes from doing workouts. We see him on his social media throwing the medicine ball against the wall, doing these types of kettlebell workouts. I mean, you could see it. These guys do it. I mean, they're eating, they're posting their meals. They're living the macro life too. You could tell with the stuff that their nutritional coaches are putting them on. And they're at the top of their game, both on the course and as a result of that in life. So I said it before, when you feel good, you look good. When you look good, you feel good. I'm a big believer in it. Thank you for all you've done for me. And guys and girls, check them out, www.metabolicmeltdown.com/online. If you want to jump into this program and start it, definitely check it out. I mean, my wife is involved right now. She does the workout. She's on maternity leave. She's home. She does them in the basement. She's getting in great shape. She lost 8 pounds already. So everything's working. I'm a big believer in it. And Matt, thank you again for coming on the show, man.
Appreciate it very much. Thank you, Frank. Thank you, Mike. Love talking to you guys.
And Matt, we would love it too if you could jump in our Facebook group. I know you've been kind of like taking a look there, and I know a lot of questions kind of pop up, especially for guys like me who are just first starting. So, any help there, we would definitely appreciate.
I would be more than willing to do that. That sounds awesome, guys.
Excellent.
Awesome. All right, Matt, thanks again.
All right, thank you. Have a great night.
Thanks. Take care. All right, very cool. Mike, good job lining that interview up. Because, again, it's kind of funny. I hear you and Matt talking, and I had to interject in a couple of spots because you're like living it right now.
It's our own lingo, right?
Yeah, I feel like you guys are throwing your lingo, and I'm like, I want to know. I want to understand this. So, let's figure this out. But I think, you hear things like macronutrients, and it sounds very scientific, but I liked exactly what he said. He's like, you're doing macro right now. You're just not counting it. You know, it's so true. It's really just taking a harder look at like what you're throwing into your body and just what kind of output that's going to be. And the perfect example was right there from our listener question. It's like, I have thought the exact same way too. I'm like, okay, on the 12th hole, I'm going to eat this banana and I'll feel better. Well, it's so true that that hits your stomach. That might not even be digested, and you're not even feeling the energy boost from that until well after you've left the golf course. So it's more so, I enjoy this idea of saying, let's take a further, deeper look and say, what is my body? What fuel am I running on from yesterday? And I think that long-term approach of just like constantly making sure you're eating the right thing regularly and how that's going to affect day after day. So I got to check out Matt's website because, I don't live up that way towards Albany, but it's so cool that he's starting to bring this out to people where you can access it, because I don't know if I have anybody who's doing exactly macro in my area. because that was going to be my other question, is if there's anybody who does it here. But if the fact that you can jump on and do it online, that's great. Because I think I see the benefits of it. I see what you're doing. I see what he's talking about. And I'm like, I want to get involved, but I'm just so intimidated because I'm like, where do I start? Well, I think my question's been answered. Like, there are ways to start, whether it be with Matt or other places online, but we can jump in and have somebody help us through this.
Yeah, and I just wanted to throw in one last part. I mean, it's September now, and we're going to be going into those colder months with the holidays. There's going to be a lot of temptations to start becoming lazy and to start eating a lot, because of those holidays and things like that. I mean, don't take the step back that I have always done, because once the turn of the year comes and golf season comes, or whatever sport you're into in the winter, or whatever it is, if you like tennis, you want to stay in great shape just for life. Forget about the sports side of it. Yeah. I'm such a big believer in it now, and I'm going to continue this lifestyle. And I'm actually excited to go into next season from the start in premier shape. That's my goal, and I'm really looking forward to that. So that was a great one. I'm glad he came on the show.
Yeah, no doubt. I'm interested in learning more and more about it, because and I'll ask my questions too when they come up in the Facebook group, because it just seems so counter to me. Like, the fact that you can get such a great workout in such a short time frame is something that, I used to spend like 2 hours in the gym, like in college, like a day, working out. And I don't feel like I got as much burn as I did just doing 30 minutes of what you gave me. And on top of that, I always think, all right, I got to lose a few pounds, and I'm starving for days. Right. And now I see you and be like, dude, I don't know if I can eat all this. I got to load up. Like, I see you eating like, 6 egg whites and whatever else. Mm-hmm. So it's just about eating the right things, eating the right quantities, eating the right time. But I think the thing I would want to stress, it's like he said, is nothing that's just like one size fits all. Obviously, we got to say it. We disclaim it all the time with any nutrition thing or with exercise. Speak with your doctor, make sure you're in, the right healthy shape to do it. But then after that, I think the best way to do it, and I think what's going to help where you're not failing, is to work with some sort of coach. And that was something that seemed like unreachable in years past, but now is becoming so much more available. You get access to guys like, Matt, who's so good at what he does, and you can get access online. You don't have to live and be lucky enough to live near one of his gyms. So I think by having that for the accountability, and for me, the other thing that makes me back off things is when I just don't feel like I get it. And I feel like I'm confused. And when I first start hearing all these terms being thrown out there, I get confused, but then it's not that difficult. And when you have somebody who knows it in and out and can simplify it, I think that's the way to do it. So I learned a lot, hopefully, I'll be able to catch up to where you are soon. And, really good stuff. So we'll keep the questions coming. If you have questions, just post them in the Facebook group. You can tag Matt too. But regardless, we'll have him jump in there and start to answer some of you guys' questions. And we'll post a link to his website for anybody who does want to check it out and try it out. We'll post a link in there and in the show notes. So, you can get out there and try it.
And good news, Frank. Matt just texted me, and he told me that he's going to let you indulge in the Facebook group and check it out.
Oh, in his Facebook group. Yeah, I got to check that out. Yeah, for sure. Excellent. And I love that idea. And that too takes so much of the work out of it. I know he posts, as he said, those daily videos. Because that's my other thing. I'm like, all right, I get all the willpower to get up early out of bed and jog down to the gym. And then I stand there in front of the mirror. I'm like, now what?
Right.
So by having that like visual, the video, it's like having your own trainer, and it's just like day by day where he can just say, do this. That's going to set me up. That's the stuff, the thing that I'm looking for.
Now you can go get after it.
I got to get after it. Now I got no excuses, Mike. That's my problem now.
He's going to be asking me about you.
I got to start thinking about some excuses.
Yeah.
No, I'm going to go out there and kill it. All right. Before we wrap it up, once again, I want to thank this week's sponsor, the USGA. So golf and life, how do you fit one to the other? Well, it's easier than you think. Just play 9. 9-hole golf is time friendly and unwind friendly. It's after work friendly, and there's still time to pick up the kids friendly. You can even post your 9-hole score for your handicap. It counts every time. There's a lot to love about golf, and when there's less time, the USGA says play 9. Learn more about options to play in your area by going to usga.org/play9 today. How's your short game? All right, Mike, anything else before we wrap it up?
That's it, man. You just had a great day at Baltusrol. I wanted to tell you all about it. I'll have to tell you offline. A lot of great things happen. I'm looking forward to getting out there to shoot that vlog next week. We've got a lot of fun stuff coming up, man.
Yeah, without a doubt. All right, I will see you on the course in a couple days, and we'll be back with everybody again next week.